What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is the Rapple. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Gaia. His name is Chemo. The map Oasis, and a absolute banger of a matchup. Let's talk about the history of this matchup for a little bit of this opening here. So throughout Legacy, Gaia was in this position where she was kind of, how do I say it? It's like she was strong in the sense that if you didn't take advantage of her weaknesses, which is her inability to deal with myth units, you would just lose because she had more economy than you, right? There wasn't a god out there that couldn't take advantage of her weaknesses, but you know, if you chose to try and play what is currently the meta term ethical play against Gaia on Legacy, you'd probably find yourself just getting almost eco-checked out of the game because her economy was so strong. But, you know, she just died to everything. There was a point in the history of the Voobly balance patch where they actually made her, I think they made her heroes cheaper or something. They did something to her and gave her an extra bonus to try and give her that bonus against myth units so that she could actually deal with it. I can't remember what it was, but something happened and it was reverted in there. And during that period, Gaia was just kind of dominating everything, right? You also saw it on Extended Edition, when in Extended Edition, Gaia also got half-priced heroes. Now, so if you go back onto like the final patch on Extended Edition, Gaia was one of the best gods. So, not the best, obviously, but one of the leading gods, one of the gods that lots of players were picking on the ladder and things like that. Very, very simple to play and win. Now, moving into Retold, things are a little bit different. I don't think Gaia really has got a problem against myth units. I don't think that Gaia has really got a problem against anything. In all honesty, her weaknesses aren't really against myth units. Economically, she's really good, but it's really more militarily speaking. If your opponent can get the right unit composition out, it can actually sweep the Gaia player off the map. And that's where Loki comes in and where Loki's advantage is. Loki's not, maybe a flaming weapons as well, timing attack can be challenging to beat. But yeah, the thing that Loki is kind of getting the advantage on is just basically having that bonus damage against Gaia's units. And then Gaia's just not able to win those fights as hard. Plus, you've got bonus damage coming through with the Herser to clean up the Carnivora and everything else that comes in there. So let's get this little flipperoni thing happening in this business here. So we'll see what Chemo's going to do. I do think that the more I see this, the more I think about this matchup. I was considering this matchup to be maybe like a 60-40 Loki. I think this is getting closer and closer to a 50-50 matchup for Gaia, if not a 50-50 matchup. Just fully skill-based and just comes down to who can kind of execute better on the day. Now, I do think I probably feel like a lot of matchups are very close to 50-50, but that's just me hoping, praying, and saying things. But we're going to be seeing Chemo doing what Chemo does so good, and he's going to be grabbing himself a very quick town center. This is effectively the Chemo meta. He's played a lot of games, and the reason why he is so good at the second town center play is that defensive play in Age Mythology just takes knowledge. Really, that is it. It takes knowledge of what you can get away with, and following that, it requires execution to some degree on playing around power spikes, playing around certain strategies that can punish it, and then just saying, great, we're good to go. As you see, a spy getting dropped down on this position here. Berserk does spot an Oracle here as a town center. It will be completed here for Chemo. Is he going to get the Oracle kill? I think the Oracle's going to get back into the tower. There he goes. So the Citizen's going to turn around, get a little bit of shanking action. A couple of goats to push forward here. Got some units now starting to push into the middle of the map. Got the Adamantine shingles, 200% base hit points going up. Up on the top side of the map, we've got the Titan's treasure here. On the bottom side of the map, Oosberg wagon floating around as all the units are starting to motor in onto this spot. Now taking a look at what Chemo's going for here. Double military barracks, making those Mamilo out. And seeing exactly what he can defend here. These double hero citizens are really, really strong. But this is a lot of actual economic damage done as the Mamilo is coming through. And Chemo says, okay, I can't get this. So he is... Well, this is what I mean with what Chemo does. He did this because he kind of knows, sure, units can come across the map and deny me. But for them to be here, that means there's no second town center coming in. So Chemo now knows he is playing a 1 versus 2 town center game for a little bit, at the very least. So he's actually... I love this play, just sending hero citizens out onto that kind of dangerous spot, but reacting to it quickly. Love these walls, though, from Rappel even more to secure this position. As Rappel going to be sneaking in onto this spot. Citizens just going to be having to retreat away. Both of the chickens and the berries kind of exposed, so lots of damage to come through here. Oh, one dead citizen. Nice snipe there for the Rappel. He's going to have to bail out. He is holding this relic for a little bit here. Katara Apollo. Definitely don't want to be gifting that over to the side of Chemo here. As Chemo just pops back over onto his goats. Does he have himself husbandry? Yes, he does. I like this counter barracks here to block this position, but that's going to get denied, it looks like. But still losing a berserk to deny this. Not even able to deny it, actually. Now, as the forward healing spring from the Rappel coming through. The counter barracks, however, is up. And an attempt to defend here from Chemo going to be very, very challenging. We see that Dwarven breastplate technology coming in. As the Rappel is obviously going to be wanting to pump out tons and tons of berserks in this game. Sort of role-playing a little bit like Thor. The difference is with Loki versus Thor is that Loki can't really get away with mass berserks because he has to build villages. You kind of can, but you kind of can't. And he also doesn't have those armory upgrades to give him that timing advantage either. But we'll see if this is going to work out for the Rappel here or not. As those Mamilo in hot pursuit. And Chemo, for me, it looks like he's kind of defended here. You see the army turning around, pushing back. There's now a healing spring in possession for Chemo moving forward in this game, which is it's not a big deal, but it is kind of nice. As a mana up onto this spot. I love this lush spreading shenanigans. Houses coming around onto this gold mine here just to say, no, not for you. Not today. Bragi now coming through for Rappel. As his whole plan in this game is going to be, let me get a gold starve, please and thank you. Whereas Chemo here, he kind of needs to take some fights. He's going to be retreating away with the Terma here. The Hersa turn straight onto that Carnivora to take them out. Little bits of damage to come through from those Terma on this spot. Good micro from Rappel, however, to retreat away. As it looks to me like Chemo is just going to be going pure Terma. And this is the thing. Terma were nerfed. They've got 5.3 speed now. If you get Hall of Thanes, your Berserks go up to 5.3 speed. That's enough to chase in and kill off these dudes. But once you get onto the Lush, it's lights out. It's so challenging to actually get onto here. Does he have the upgrade? He doesn't have channels, though. You need channels. He needs channels to make this work. Maybe it's going to be fine, though, as Chemo starting his shoot and scoot at the moment. Villages up onto these berry bushes here as well. As Bragi is now through. And I like this here from Rappel. Herdman. The Herdman, they've only got 15% pierce armor. So you do have to be a little bit careful, but they do speed in. Sending the Berserks in first and then sending those Herdmen through. Rappel going for a charge forward here. As the Terma back onto their Lush. But they don't have that speed increase. We've got the Gaia Forest to come in and block this position. Gets another snipe in there. Just trying to get away. He's got the healing spring on this position as the big amount of blue units charging through here. Saturma pulling back underneath the town center, still turning around, getting attacks off when they can. The villagers pulling have got a huge troll spawn onto this position. Will it get any kills? The answer is no on that special. Charging through this tight concave over here as the army for the Rapple continues to charge through. And it looks to me like Chemo is going to be able to hold against this flaming weapons. The battle ball's coming through. Citizens retreating back into the town center. Is in the main base. A handful of Norse units remaining. And Rapple is down to 25 military population. And what more can he do here after that flaming weapons just did not cut the mustard? Did not slice the bread. Did not carve the turkey. That's the Terma on the forward movement here. Once the Herdmen actually get onto these Terma, they do a lot of damage. You got to be careful. You can't be taking damage against them. Look at these things. They just for those of you playing at home, they got boosted. They got up to 6x bonus damage versus cavalry, and he's got 5.8 hack damage at the moment. Plus, he's got the Loki bonus. So these things, let's just say the damage they do is quite a lot. It's quite substantial. Bit of a misclick there from Chemo as he gets another kill. He's got a couple of hero Terma here to try and take out the battle boar as well. As the villagers, they just say, "You've got houses around that gold mine, do you? No worries. I'm just going to mine this anyways. It's all good." That's the troll getting that big throw in. Terma still retreating back away from here. Big iron respawn on this position as the Carnivora gets dropped down to slow these units up. Still no channels for Chemo is absolutely wild to me. This is the whole reason this god is a really, really strong god. Playable in Retold, in my opinion, is the Lush. If she didn't have that Lush, I think she would be much, much less oppressive. Well, oppressive, so to speak, but playable, I think, is kind of where I'm starting. I feel she's at. I mean, she's obviously very strong as well. Battle ball going down. Herdman getting taken out on this spot. And Rapple, I mean, he just can't do anything. Like, he's not building any cavalry, though. That's the other question. Big question mark. I mean, he's obviously got Force City, so he wants to make Herdman. He wants to make Berserks. Now, the Herdman, technically, they would kill off these Terma if he had a whole bunch more of them and could actually chase forward. But just not gonna be able to get there. Economic Guild into the center of the map here. And Rapple's Herdman feeling very, very sad. I mean, he's still getting kills. Like, he's still getting value here. Just goes to show how good these Herdmen actually are. But surely sooner or later, Chemo's going to just start going, all right, time to build some Mamilo. I mean, maybe he's just having fun, to be honest. Like, at this point, he doesn't want to build anything but Terma, just to be like, look at all my Terma. The multiplier is 6x plus 20%, so 6.8. Good dodges here from the Rapple. Look at him go! Dodge, dodge, dodge! Dodge! Does he? Oh, now he's got. Wait, I'm still on the wrong one. He still doesn't have channels. Oh dear, he still doesn't have channels. It would be so much more oppressive. I love how there's just 2 relics. This is how you know this is a top level game. You got 2 relics just sitting in the middle of the map. No one wants them. In fact, they were picked up. They got moved from their starting location into the middle of the map. That's how much they didn't care about those relics. Troll getting sniped down. Can Rappel do anything here? I mean, he's just continuing to do the same thing, it looks like. Day is now through. Hesperid's tree is now down, and now there's a front line for the Terma, which makes life very, very challenging. He gets, as the mountain giant spawns, he taps out. Should have waited for it. A really strong, well-played hold here from that all-in from the Rappel. I mean, there's a billion other ways I think that this could have gone for the Rappel. He could have gone for a town center himself. He could have taken this into a macro game. He could have gone for a timing attack that hit much later. Say he attacks in at 13 minutes rather than 10. Wait, when did he use it? Yeah, it looks like he used the flaming weapons at 10 minutes, right? If he just waited up until like 12 minutes or 13 minutes, once he has full population, then goes for it, maybe that can be a little bit more challenging for Kimo to hold. But the wrong decisions in this one from our main man Rappel, and Kimo finds the dub. GG! Hold action spawning in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Kido. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Gaia. His name is the Rappel. The Rapalion. The Rappelmeister. We just watched Rappel playing the opposite side of this matchup against Kimo. But when you flip the matchup, everything gets very, very different. Players' styles are very different. The decisions are different. Kido, obviously a very different player to Rappel with Norse. And Rappel, a very different Gaia player than Kimo is. So we'll see how things are going to be different in this game. Archimedes Ledger over here, population usage -1. Over on this one, we got that Blanket of Empress Zoe, making your buildings more resistant to siege attacks. On this position, we got that Trojan Gate hinge, boosting the wall hit points by a little bit. Up on this side, we've got Skulls of the Cercipes, going to be granting monkeys that respawn throughout this game. So some good relics on the map, especially that monkey relic. Nice for the early game to make sure that your opponent can't really do anything here. Now, one thing that we saw from the last game was that, you know, Loki does drop a spy down. Loki, not the best at dealing with like a Farsic and town center. At least maybe it was a bit of execution problems, but one option that Loki does have, if you know your opponent's going to be going for that strategy, if you want them to stay one town center, is to go Heimdall. Heimdall is always good. It's never bad. You can't go wrong with Heimdall. Except for the times when you can go wrong with Heimdall. Babush Kareem, welcome back, my friend. Welcome to the Discord and all the other good stuff. Appreciate you, man. We got the Berserks coming through to get that temple out. I really like this idea from Norse. This has been something I've been doing as well in my own Norse games when I'm feeling like it, especially with Loki, but with other Norse gods as well. The idea is I don't need to have this Berserk come back and build a temple for me. I can just build the Berserk out at this point to drop the temple, and I can get the entirety of the map scouted, get all my goats, and I have a really good game, as opposed to being completely in the dark and not having any information, not having any goats, and having a 9-second faster classical age. 9 seconds. It's not that big of a deal. Realistically, in the grand scheme of things, what's 9 seconds going to get you? That's a rule for life there, by the way. That's a lesson for life. What's 9 seconds going to get you? Soup in the chat saying the second elf is expensive. Oh, come on, Soup. It's not. It's only every villager you get out is 9 seconds earlier, which means you're going to get a bunch of resources more. Like, come on. Let's not get into it. I'm trying to promote scouting and how important this is rather than promote just sitting in your base and just relying on economy that you're not going to spend anyways. Let's be completely honest. You're going to be floating 2,000 food most games anyways. Right? That's what I see. All right, military barracks, pop it up for the Rapple on this spot. And that's why we need to bring back auto queue. If we bring back auto queue, then those 9 seconds are going to start mattering. Illuminati, thank you for the raiding party, my friend. Wait, it's Heimdall. I didn't even notice. I was too busy talking about math. Heimdall is in. And he doesn't manage to kill the second barracks. He does stop one counter barracks from going up over here. Does he kill off the tower? No, he doesn't. Absolutely wild. I told you, Heimdall, OP. Everybody is obsessed with Force City because Force City is really, really strong. But with Force City being really, really strong, that means you get to you miss out on how much fun Heimdall is. Are we going to see a second town center? I wouldn't be surprised to see Keto go for this. What's our main man Rapple going to do to stop it as well? I mean, he probably can, realistically. He's got... Oh, no, the monkeys are in. You can't stop a town center if the monkeys are in. There's too many monkeys. These bad boys. They're just monkeying about. Okay. I guess following this town center, this matchup has effectively been flipped on its head. As the Caladria going to come through, you can't really drop... There's not really any point in dropping a Caladria or a Carnivore down with this Caladria's vision when the town center is already at 1200 HP. He might do it, but it's probably not going to do a whole lot. As the house on the front does get taken out. Is this house here a distraction house of sorts? Maybe. I mean, it's still value for Rapple to kill it off, but it could just be a distraction house there. And we see Rigstooler coming through here. One thing, if you want to get this Rigstooler out a little bit quicker as Norse, is to get your Hersir to kill off the animals. Send one Hersir forward to smack those animals. You can kill off the monkeys for favor, and you can get that Rigstooler in really, really early. It's 20 favor total, and I'm pretty sure you only need to really kill 1 or 2 packs of Hunt with Hersir to get that technology in. There's a town center there. Firing ahead at those Murmillo Berserks coming back here. With Keto on 2 town centers and Rapple on 1 town center. It's a bit of a funky little... How do you say? Like, it's a very different way to play this matchup. Normally, the Gaia player is the one on the defensive and the Loki player is the one on the offensive. But Keto going, I'm just going to play a defensive game and see what happens here. He's already getting walls up on the top position there. You can see on the minimap. Here he's going in onto those walls, which will allow him access to this gold mine. And I guess this is only really possible on maps like Oasis, right? Where you've got a really, really defensive situation. You've got the walls over here, walls on this side, walls on here, and you get security of a gold mine. If your opponent comes around and blocks off here, then you can walk over onto this position, and your opponent has to walk all the way around here to stop that gold mine from coming up. One way to play around that is to send a citizen forward and wall this, wall that, and then all of a sudden it's going to be a challenge for your opponent to kind of do that kind of move around situation. And what is this? Hero citizens getting converted with shaft mine to come through. I genuinely don't know what this is for, because it takes so long for them to pay itself off. I think without upgrades, it takes like 10 minutes for it to pay itself off. Like, I'm not sure. Can someone... We had math nerds in the chat before. Someone tell me. As the walls get broken down, And Rappel is now pushed off of this gold mine. But there's still gold left in the main base. And there is still this gold mine over here, which Keto will be moving over onto. As the monkeys on this left-hand corner going to get finished up. We've got the Great Hall over here getting sniped down. We got the Twitch chat working on the on our answers here. So if we can believe it or not, trust it or not. I wouldn't trust me if I say anything either. I've been making a lot of mistakes today on stats and stuff. Oh, Raiding Cavalry out, snipes down an Oracle. Nice find there. Is Keto going to be dropping a market here? And this is the big advantage. I don't feel like you really need like that much gold to get yourself the full population on 2 town centers with a market. Because you get a lot of gold out of these 2 things. And yes, it's going to slow you down to have to do all that trading. But as long as you don't take any fights, it's going to be completely fine here. But at this point, Rappel kind of needs to be thinking, well, maybe I need to get my own town center. Maybe I need to do something to get some more technologies in so that I can figure it out. They are now on the way, or about to be on the way. The Raiding Cavalry, they are finding little bits of damage here. Good reaction from Rappel to pull back. He's got in his main base 1 catapulti's there. Going to snipe down the Raiding Cavalry and see what's going to happen. There's the citizens over here. Will 1 catapulti be enough? Is the question. Keto says, I'm scared of your catapulti. Let me run away. And he's right to be. Look at that damage. Wait, no, he's not. He's back. Okay, who wins? Oh, Rappel's scared. Run away. Another catapulti to come and say good day. It's a big whack. And the Raiding Cavalry are out of there. But for the moment, Keto, oh, he loses a ton of units over here. Good catch from the Rappel. He's going up to the heroic age right now. We see the villagers moving forward to get back onto this gold mine for the time being. He's also over on this gold mine, so he's got both of them. I wouldn't mind seeing a berserk or 2 coming down to just throw a wall down here and a wall over here. Obviously costs gold, which he doesn't have right now. So it is expensive, but super, super worth it as we see Keto dropping the wall back up and saying, let me just make this nice and defensive. This wall here is kind of a bit of a liability. So we now see a town center for Rappel. To be honest, I don't think Rappel's really got the damage done just yet. I don't think he should be dropping in town center. I think this is just signing your death certificate to some degree. It's kind of hard to know when you don't have omniscience, but as someone with omniscience, I can tell you that these resources are going to be direly needed. And the resources of building the villages out of that town center are going to be direly needed to be able to push in and actually get something done here. Whether or not that's possible, I'm actually not sure, but he has to get some damage done. How's the market going? Hasn't even used the market yet. As the Einherry, I mean, this is the other thing. With the Einherry on the back line, you never want to really put the Einherry into the fight. Just leave him on the back line, blowing the horn every 15 to 20 seconds. Whenever that, is it 15 seconds? 20 seconds. Every 20 seconds, and your units just get that mini boost of damage over and over and over again. Rappel retreating back. Hero Terma almost sniping down the Einherry. He's on the front line. One Stimfalion and a dream here from the Rappel. Is he dead? Yes, he is. A couple more longhouses to come down for Keto. He's got units over onto this side as well. As I'm sure that Rappel is going to split up his army for the time being. Oop, oop, oop. A man after my heart. I love this. This needs to be in every single player's repertoire. Walls are obnoxious. And anti-wall your opponent. Anti-wall them. This is beautiful. Obviously, the wall can just come around. Actually, I don't know if it can. If you wall straight up to the town center, he's not going to be able to do anything there. You just have to remember to gate it, though. There's the Mamillo getting in. One dwarf down. Two dwarf. No. Yes. Maybe. Two dwarf down. Great Hall gets denied over here. So those Dryads try to push forward. 3 dead throw an axeman on that position. The hearse are going to be falling as well. Are we going for a Berserk Rock? There's no food in the bank. He doesn't have the resources for it. Oh, please, a Berserk Rock. Please. Why go for the gold? You don't need it. Just go for the Berserk Rock. 190 population, flaming weapons, Berserk. Sell all the wood. Ah, boring. Okay, the army's still going to come through. It's still like 190 population here for Keto. Flaming weapons gets dropped down. A troll spawn over here. And the Rapple is in complete retreat for the time being. So the village is going to sneak over onto this berry bush as well. And Keto has effectively survived thus far. But so too is the Rapple. I mean, villager differential, it's Norse, so you're looking at 79 Norse villages versus 74 population of Atlantean villager. That's somewhat advantage Keto, but if you take a look at the upgrades for the Rapple, I mean, he's actually not as far in front as I would have thought. No quarry yet, no carpenters, no flood control. All of those techs are insane, right? Wait, is flood control insane? No, flood control isn't insane, but carpenters and quarry, they are insane. So you want to be getting those as soon as you possibly can. As hell now pre-queued. And Rapple going to be pushing in here. Watchtower get taken out. Rapple trying to make this very, very painful here. I imagine Keto is going to be trying to get himself out a couple of Huskars here. He's only got the one hill fort. Huskar very, very good against those Arcus. The Arcus going to be pulling back directly on to this forest here to try and keep themselves alive. The Dryads here getting taken down very, very quickly on the top line. There's no Goatee, as it looks to me like Rapple's army will be able to hold here. The Stimphalian Bird trying to escape away. It's got 1 HP here, 3.8 speed in a dream, and that dream is real. The Caladra can get over here and heal it all the way back up to full HP if necessary. One huge Rock Giant spawn is in, but that's going to be getting taken out as Rapple continuing to try and take this fight, but this is defender's advantage and then some for Keto here as the Goatee are in. The Caladria retreats back. 1 HP Stimphalian Bird will go down as well, I'm sure, very, very quickly after the Caladria has fallen. And now Rapple is on in full retreat here with Keto back up to full population. And with this all going on, big raids from the Berserks while all that fighting was going on, taking Rapple off of the gold mines. Does he have himself, he does have himself that quarry technology, so his gold income should be in a nice place, but he needs to have more villagers on gold here, as we see in classic Norse fashion, Keto fashion here. The side builds commencing, hell clicked up here as well. As, I mean, the resources for Rapple floating quite a bit. So we'll see how it's all going to go. As the Clontarius over here getting sniped down. Dryads slowly starting to push forward. It's the gold miners up onto this spot. We've got a nice palace to come down for Rapple over here as all the units going to jump onto this settlement. I have an answer to the math. Wait, I can't read that math. We're going to have to look at it at the very end. Someone give me the math in a very short amount of time. How long does it take for a hero citizen to pay itself off? And does it change if you've got pickaxe or quarry or shaft mine, right? Does it change? That's what I need to know. But it looks like Keto at the moment slowly expanding out. He's got himself the hill forts up. He's got himself completely into this game in a really, really nice fashion. He's going to be having himself a Nidhogg here as well. Does Rappel have the resources, however, to get himself the hero units? His Arc is getting converted here, but is this too little too late as the Nidhogg going to be flying in onto this back position, not wanting to just drop it in onto a whole bunch of Arcus for the time being. He can just fly through with that special ability and get that damage done. Apparently, the TLDR of it all is 6.25 minutes to pay off for Gaia with no upgrades using Huntables. Huntables are, I guess, as fast as wood. Right, so I guess, okay, there you go. So I've been lying the entire time. 6.25 minutes is still quite a bit of time. It might be, yeah, it's still a lot of time to make that happen. But nonetheless. The Nidhogg's flying forward. Can Rappel hold on? He's got that implode on the way as the Nidhogg. I mean, it's going to get so much damage onto those Arcus. I'm sure that Rappel's just going to be pulling back, though. Oop, Nidhogg decides, I can't get in there just yet. So he decides to retreat back for the time being here. There's the flaming weapons for the second time coming through from Keto. I'm surprised he doesn't just prefer to get himself out a bunch of fire giants here. But he is at full population. And it looks like Rappel's economy is almost no more here. He's not able to continue this pump. He needs like a bunch. I guess what he really needs here is a bunch of... He does have implode coming, but he needs a bunch of those fanatics. Is this all the units he has? It really doesn't look like that much. So there's the Mythic Age. The town center down. Implode gets dropped down, but the unit's already running away from this position. Too little, too late. A bunch of those dudes are going to get out of here. The population barely changes. 30 population there. Barely changes for Keto. And Rappel is in a world of hurt. He's got champion infantry queued up, but so far away from it. Oh, and a Fafnir spawn as well. This thing is actually really strong. I know most people don't like this unit because it gives 300 gold to your opponent, but you get so much value from it. You get this for free? Jesus. Look at it go. Look at it. The trees are on fire. The dryads. They're burnt. There's all the Contarius in the world charging through here. We've got the Argus to come in for the Rappel as well. Getting that spit down. I don't know. I mean, he's at 150 pop. Still trying to get back in up onto the top, however. We've got side build galore. Whole bunch of Berserks up here to hold on. I mean, the Murmillos, if they can get themselves to full champion upgrades, they will win up on this fight, I would assume, against those Berserks. But it's not an easy one. And in that moment, Rappel does decide to tap out, and Keto finds the win with the Heimdall. A long grind here, 22 minutes of grinding to get himself into this game. Really, really nice defensive maneuvering between the two gold mines against that one town center from the Rappel. I didn't like his town center grab, but maybe that was the correct decision there, and he almost managed to find his way into this game, but he just could not get enough damage done here in the heroic age. Couldn't chase the mythic age of the Loki. You can see how close this economy is, even with a significant, I would say, civilian unit lead in this game because of all of the economic damage and idle time, I guess, that Rappel was causing here. You see, I mean, there's really not that much, but right here there was a ton. But there's really not that much. These players are so good at this. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Ha! I gotcha! We got one more game coming at you. This one is a point of view game here, as I managed to actually get this matchup. Playing random, you know, I don't have a very high chance of getting the matchups that I want, so I don't really know what's going to happen. This one here, playing against Eric, you know, he's a really, really strong player. And I've been thinking, the more and more I think about this matchup, the more and more I think it's really just not that bad. Like, it might be slightly Loki favored. It might be slightly Gaia favored even at this point. I genuinely am not 100% sure. But one thing's for certain. This matchup is definitely not heavily favored one way or the other. Which is funny. This is the whole reason I wanted to make this sort of compilation video, 3 different games in this matchup and showing a whole bunch of different angles that can be taken here. So yeah, we saw a 2 town center Gaia play. We followed by a Loki player playing a very macro heavy game. So moving in onto this one on Marsh, I'm going to be playing a 1 town center game, and I don't know it just now, but Eric is going to be doing the same. We're both going to be spamming out units and trying to find advantages and whatnot. So what is so different about Gaia in Retold versus Gaia in Legacy that allows her to sort of function? I think one big thing is that, well, she's got a very, very powerful Oceanus now. Now, if on Legacy, Oceanus was, well, basically the Caladria was much more useful, then I actually think that Gaia would have probably been pretty good on Legacy as well. I think it's all about this Oceanus god. Carnivora, really big in team, not in team fights, in the actual fights, and the Caladria just being able to make the early game less painful. I don't have anything to worry about in the early game. I can literally move forward and hunt against Loki, which sounds absolutely insane. So anyways, my idea here is, well, he can't go mass Herser if I open mass Murmillo. So that's what I'm going to start with. And if he decides to go for a mix of units, then I can easily deal with that by making myself a whole bunch of Terma and potentially also mixing in Caraballister. We're going to talk a little bit about the Caraballister a little bit later. But first things first, I want you to notice that the way that I build my base here as Gaia is I'm just trying to spread out that lush as much as I possibly can outside of my base, because I want to be able to fight on that lush and be in a good spot because of it. I put Gaia trees down nice and early on my town center and also nice and close to my villages on hunt. I want them to have as little walking time as possible after they finish getting all the food, and I'm going to be hitting that classical age. I think I was a little bit later than I would like. Normally I want to get a 355, but whatever. It matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter enough to make you lose a game. So yeah, we get a good advance. I'm actually, in the back of my mind here, I'm thinking about 2 things. I'm thinking, should I get early shaft mine, or should I throw down 3 military buildings straight away? And I do think the 3 military buildings straight away with this build with Gaia is a very, very powerful way to start a game. So I'm looking for all these relics. I actually see a nice one on the front here, which I was trying to debate as to whether going and getting myself Eye of Horus first would be better, or just claiming the Arrows of Heracles. And I decided that Arrows of Heracles is going to be the more prudent, the more powerful of relics, just because, you're going to make Terma. They're kind of underwhelming, so a little bit more damage with the multiplier against Throw and Axeman means that they're going to be able to do their job even better. So that's why I went that way. I also am throwing up my buildings here to protect my top position. I can say I've got 2 gold mines there, and I've got Hunt up on that side, or at least a very small amount of Crocodile. So protecting that gold mine so my opponent can't just run in and attack that is going to be really, really big. I've got this Eye of Horus coming in, and he obviously not very happy about that. His Berserk is over there trying to kill my dude, but as we all know, you can't really do any damage against Oracle, against early game with 1 unit. The Caladria kind of starts to feel a little bit less oppressive once the army numbers get much higher, but yeah, I don't know. I think even then, Caladria is still really good at slowing down big important targets in a game with the Pacify. But nonetheless, we got all our buildings down, and I'm just gonna sit here and play defensive. Like I know that I don't need to do anything here at the moment. I just need to get up army. I've played this matchup on the other side quite a bit on Loki, and I'm still struggling. And I feel like that's more on me than really the god Loki. But I do find myself losing by trying to apply pressure to the Gaia player. So in this instance, I'm just going to be spamming out units and just trying to apply light pressure. I don't want to actually fight. I don't want to get caught out. He's got access to Hall of Thanes, so his units are going to be faster than mine. His Berserks are already faster than mine. His Ursa are at the same speed as my units. So at the moment, I know that I am okay to poke as long as I don't get caught out. And threatening the poke is oftentimes enough. I see him charging in and I go, okay, no worries. Let me just pull back. I don't have enough units to fight here. I will pull back under my lush and take some fights and move my villages around. It's a lot of idle time, but I don't need to fight. I'm under my lush. It's all good. A couple more Caladria to come through. And now I just need to get some heroes out. And this is something that I think initially when Retold came out, everyone was like, wow, the heroes take so long to convert. And to some degree, they're actually right. Like it's a pretty big weakness or whatever. But the heroes are really cheap now. So long as you do this in advance, you're good to go. You just like every other civ. As long as you prepare to deal with myth units in advance, it's fine. You can't just wait for your opponent to have myth units and be fine. So getting just a little bit of hit and run here. I know that he's got the healing spring, but any amount of, if I can manage to somehow snipe this Ursa would be really good. I want to kill it. Okay, it doesn't die. But I know that if I'm just going to, even just one unit there that gets taken out of the fight for 30 seconds and forces him back, that's so good for me. I turn around and take this fight, but I think I don't think it's a mistake with the Carnivora, but I'm not quite on my Lush, and Lush is really big. As you can see that, I mean, units just get so much HP back. I'm mismicroing a little bit here, trying to make my Terma target down those, throw an Axeman. Eric's also mismicroing a little bit there with a Troll targeting down my heroes, but I know here that at this exact moment, I have won this fight. So the first fight goes my way, and this is generally what happens when I play as Loki as well against Gaia. I take this fight thinking my opponent is being crazy. He's playing against Loki and he's got forward hunt. I mean, I've got to come and punish that. And to some degree, like that might be correct, but it obviously, for me and for Eric in this game, it didn't work out. So now I've got a significant advantage. I should be healing up all my units, which is going to happen with my Galadriel. I'm just going to take as much attack onto these houses as possible because Eric has been a little bit greedy with the forward houses there. He's going to be attacking me. I don't particularly want to take a serious fight here. I will poke, and that's about it. Just keep getting upgrades and keep getting everything in. Again, I don't really need to do anything against the Loki, which, this does open up some questions. If I don't do anything against the Loki player, then he's got potential to get a really, really early heroic age in, right? So I do have to be poking. That's important. That's part of why these Terma are important. I can continue to poke and force him to at least be aware of my threat and have to turtle up, basically. But at this point, my only real weakness here is on this forward position, so getting my lush spread. I put an economic guild down here. It was kind of silly. I didn't have the resources for mana at that point, and then obviously straight after I put it down, I did. But the mana on this position was all that was needed. I love a good old economic guild as much as the next person, but got to be careful about where those all those resources get spent. So now I'm just waiting for my next fight, which is going to be with the next Carnivora, and I feel like if I have another Carnivora down, I'm good. I've already got one on that position so that I can always retreat to, and I guess we'll see. I'm kind of mismacroing a little bit. I got a lot of food in the bank. I did take some villages off of gold at the top. I think I've got Shaft Mine now as well, but yeah, a little bit of mismacro. And at this point, I'm just going to need to get my armory upgrades. I have this feeling that with the... I don't know if it's an economic advantage that Gaia definitely has an economic advantage, but against Norse, it doesn't necessarily feel the case. I steal this healing spring, which I think is absolutely gigantic. And this is why I move forward here. Stealing this healing spring, I feel like, well, this is kind of like I'm on Lush, except the Lush is even stronger, which means I'm going to try and take this fight. And my Terma here will be on top of those throw and action. But it turns out that this is not the fight. I'm fighting with Eric having defender's advantage, which I think is more than enough to account for the forward healing spring. And unfortunately, I'm gonna... I don't know if I throw this fight. I think the fight in of itself is like not that bad. Like I think I actually trade pretty well. Not sure exactly if he'd converted berserks or not from villages. You never know. I imagine he may have, but yeah, I lose the fight, and I'm kicking myself on this one to take that. But now we know. I think if I'd spread Lush onto this healing spring and just tried to hold onto it while the Lush spread out, and if I also had Lush on that fight with the healing spring, there's no way he would have won there. But my Carnivora is down. My hopes and dreams of dominating this game are down, and we're kind of back into what I would say is a relatively equal position. So get more military buildings, spam more units, and effectively we're just trying to get the resources out of our bank here. And yet again, I have managed to make my economy imbalanced, which is kind of the hardest part about... It's the easiest and the hardest part about Atlantean. If you ever notice yourself floating some resources, you just take the villages off of that resource and put them onto a close resource nearby. I find some units over on that spot, but at this point I know that I really need to defend. I need all my stuff here to fight. I don't have access to a Carnivora on this fight, which is probably the weakest part of it. My Terma here need to be getting involved. I'm actually going to take my citizens in because I know how important this fight is, and I do have in the back of my mind that there is a potential that Eric has been converting villages into berserks here. I don't know if he has or not, but that just means I've got to be accepting that I need to take some fights with citizens. So I lose some villages here, but I win the fight. And nice Caraballister comes in. This is a unit that I'm still like very up in arms about. Like, I know that I have to build it here, but I don't want to build it here. I feel like it got its value in this fight, very much so. But I don't really want any more of them. And I can't really use it anywhere but in this defensive position. So, and if I then move my army away from the Caraballas, he's kind of out of position. So the more I think about it, the more I'm like, there's got to be something here with the Caraballister. And I think that something is that it is technically a siege weapon. Right? A siege weapon. So with the siege, you have to make sure that you play defensive with it and build walls. So it is basically a catapult. And I lose both of those Caraballister, a huge amount of resources for next to nothing on that fight. And I am getting some good villager kills on this bottom here. So I'm happy to take this fight on the front, especially with Carnivora and no heroes. That Carnivora is going to be a godsend here. I'm still going to be getting more units in as well. And more Caladria. I've got a lot of favor in the bank that I probably need another Oracle to start getting even more to make the next Carnivora, because I think it's important. But Caladria are going to be nice. And I do end up getting a couple more Caraballister out. And a lot of this is just... I mean, I just want to spend my wood. I could probably get away with just mass Murmillo at this point, and maybe it's better. But wood does come in very, very fast, and I do manage to win that fight. And now I'm going to come in and not make the same mistake twice and try and spread Lush out onto this healing spring in the center, so that if I am taking a fight here, it's going to be even better. I don't know where that villager is that popped forward, but oh, there he's building it. Okay, good. So yeah, now I'm going to have 3 HP per second plus 1 HP per second. So 3 HP from the healing spring and 1 HP from the economic guild. I make it really, I don't know. I think I accidentally moved my villagers forward here. I don't know why they're on that gold mine. It was very silly, and he caught me out. I think just an accident. But yeah, on the healing spring now, that's 2 HP a second in fight, in the middle of a fight, which is actually insane if I'm sitting on that. So yeah, there's no real way that I'm going to lose that position anymore. And I've also pushed him off the hunt in the middle of the map, and I've managed to find a win. So you can kind of see how absolutely insane this can be. Like I lost one fight. I won one early fight, lost the second fight, and I still find a victory. Now, I mean, a lot of this can be accounted to maybe Eric not playing this like super optimally. Could be down to that. But in reality, I genuinely think the guy's got an angle in this matchup. You saw it with Chemo going to town center. You saw it here, and you saw how good Loki can be with Keto playing it through Heimdall, right? I think it's actually a decent matchup. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but lots of like awesomeness to come. I don't know. I didn't have to face flaming weapons at the moment, but I think that with the Gaia Lush, I can literally just run away from it and get channels, run away on the Lush, force the flaming weapons in the center of the map and run away is completely fine. Sure, you can run to my main base, but by then I'm totally good. But you could see our post-game chat. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. This was a fun sort of little mini series of Gaia versus Loki games to throw your way. If you enjoy this type of video, definitely let me know, and leave a like button, leave a comment, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Close, right? But it doesn't. But because my units are actually really good in this situation, like you look at my kill loss. This is insane. A healing spring plus Lush. You can't beat that. I swear I thought I would win on this fight, but if I put if I put an economic guild down on this fight here, I 100% would have won it. 1 HP a second plus 3 HP a second, so 2 HP a second on this fight would be absolutely insane. If I win this fight, then the game's over much earlier. Well, GG.